Welcome back to the 100 Horror Films in 31 Days. This is day 30. Got in 5 films. And I will be doing the wrap up video probably tomorrow, day 31. First film was Killing Ground, which was a first time watch, 2016, directed by Damien Power. It was his directorial debut. It's an Australian rape revenge film about some campers that basically get attacked by these two thugs, that just go out looking for people to torture and rape, basically. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward story. I don't know what it is about rape revenge films, but they always elicit a visceral response from me. And this one really did. And I understand why it did, because the husband, so it's a wife, husband, and a kid, and of course they're attacked by these hunter type guys, and it's kind of like a Most Dangerous Game. If the Most Dangerous Game storyline was a rape revenge story, that's what this is. But the husband was such a wimp. Oh man, the guy played Ian Meadows played the husband, and he just basically, I don't know whether it was intentional script writing or what, but I mean, he basically just fell apart. It was just non-functioning. And it was so frustrating to watch him sit there and allow all this to happen and do nothing about it, take no action at all. And, his wife basically had to be the one to finally take action and deal with it. It was rough. I mean, I think this film is a good example of what movies are supposed to do. I mean, whether you like it or hate it, if it elicits a response from you, it's achieved its goal. And so I give it full credit for that. I give it a 7 out of 10. It got me all wound up, no doubt about it. The two guys that play the Deliverance type hunters was Aaron Peterson and Aaron Glennon, I think. Glennon. Both those guys were great in it. Yeah, 7 out of 10 on that. That's an IFC film. Next up is a Roger Corman film, which I had also never seen. 1955's The Beast with a Million Eyes. This is a really bare bones production. I mean, you've got an alien that lands on in this ranch western area, and he through mind control starts trying to take over this family. And you really don't see anything of the alien until the very, very end. And the alien turns out to be like a teapot. I mean, I think they used a variant of a teapot for the alien. It was really cheap. And all through the movie, when the alien is trying to exert its mind control, you've got this humming noise that was so annoying I had to cut the sound just off while it was going on. It was like watching on the TV. It's like watching the sound bar, where the network's gone off the air. It used to be when I was growing up, a network would go off the air and you'd get this, and you get the bars going across the screen. It's the same sound. It was awful, awful, awful. The movie's not good, and the acting is flat. I give it a 5 out of 10. It was nothing. I mean, it's an alien teapot, and at the end, the alien teapot flies off back to space. Next up, this is a rewatch for me, and that was Black Coat's Daughter, 2015. That's Oz Perkins directed that. And I liked it better this time than the first time. Really, really interesting. To me, it's just an exorcism movie, but it's a very sophisticated exorcism movie. You've got this girl that is at a boarding school waiting for her parents to come get her, and they basically never do. And then it kind of fast forwards in time to after this girl commits some murders because she becomes possessed. This possession occurs in the boarding school with other girls. It's a creepy, good movie. I liked it a lot. I think I gave it an 8 out of 10. Let's see. First, yeah, I've given it solid 8 out of 10 both times I've watched it. Actually, I take that back. I gave it a 9 out of 10 this time. It is visually beautiful, and it's a genuinely creepy movie. I like this. It's a slow burn, but it's not in your face exorcism, but it builds up to a kind of a crescendo. Very good, interesting ending too. Not quite sure. It kind of leaves you thinking. It's not a straightforward story in the typical horror sense. It leaves you thinking. This is just a Blu-ray DVD. Definitely highly recommend Blackcoat's Daughter. Let's see, Oz Perkins hadn't done a whole lot. Maybe he did Hansel and Gretel. That was. But yeah, he hit the nail on the head with that. Next up. Dun, 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 dun. This is, I've been working my way through the Friday the 13th box set from Scream Factory. And as many of you know, there was some problems with the release. I've gone through, in fact, I just finished Freddy vs. Jason. I didn't watch so the main issues were part 3. I think the credits didn't show up as 3D correctly. I haven't watched part 3 in 3D. I probably will just to check it. And then there was a scene cut from Jason Goes to Hell. I noticed it was cut. And then there was a third issue, I don't recall. But as far as this set in mind, the only issue I have with it is that scene from the Jason Goes to Hell unrated, uncut, is missing a gore scene. So that kind of sucks. Other than that, it looks great. It sounds great. I got no complaints. So yeah, I started up with Friday the 13th, the original. And I think this film still holds up. It's a classic slasher film. It still holds up really well. I loved it. I think I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Let me just check and see. Take it back. I gave it a 9 out of 10. It's a great film. Great slasher. And I think the difference between great and good and bad is the characters. And we're going to talk about that. When you get the further along into the series that you get, the characters become more disposable and less likable. And having watched all these all the way through Freddy vs. Jason, you really see that. I mean, after part 4, it starts to slowly go down. Now, I think Jason looks better, with Kane Hodder. That improves. But the overall film, overall films start to decline in quality and value because the characters and the actors that play them are so disposable and so forgettable and unlikable that, I mean, compare Crispin Glover to the actors, if you can even remember them, the actors in Jason X. That's my point. And in this character, I mean, everybody remembers Kevin Bacon getting knifed through the throat in this film. I mean, there's just and you've got characters that got personality, that are interesting. They're not just disposable victims for the slasher. That to me is the difference between a great slasher and just a poor or average slasher film. And so I think this one still holds up. Next up is part 2. And part 2 is, well, I'll just tell you, part 4 is my favorite. And then part 2 is number 2. I love Baghead Jason. I think he's the most menacing. Although I think the Jason in part 3, or actually part 3 and part 5, there's there's some scary moments with that one too. But I like Baghead Jason. I think it's great, and I think Amy Steele's fantastic in it as the final girl. But as far as an overall rating, I still give this a 9 out of 10, comparable to the first. But this has some iconic kills, definitely. So that's going to do it for day 30. At some point, after I've worked my way through this box, I'll probably do a Friday the 13th comparison of this set and its features to the 10. Most of you probably have the 10. I'll probably do that at some point. All right. Well, I appreciate you watching. Thanks.